250 here. If you look at the Tesla chart for the day, like what do you think the last ditch effort for them to hold it down is going to be? It's 250, right? So I personally think the Bears max pain here are going to be 250 and high a day, right? Those are the ones that's like, all right, if they're shorting against these levels, they're shorting against 250 and high a day. They'll either stop out here or stop out there. So if we can get a trigger of these, what what can we get to? Shoot, I think we could probably get to 255. What could I play 255s for? $1.50? They're still a little juiced. I was hoping we get them for like $1, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up the two. What are these two? Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up the 255s, and what I'm gonna do. So we got 114 to 250. We got. So here's what's in my opinion what's happening is you've got 115,000 open interest at 250. Do you guys think the market makers want to finish above that level? So the total volume on 250s is 115,000. If you were the market makers, would you want to finish above that level? 2 hours later, right? Yeah, no, we wouldn't, right? We'd want to trap them and take that money, right? We wouldn't want to finish above that level. If it gets over 250, if it can push over that 250, what do you think's going to happen? Like if this is what I mean when I'm talking about the line in the sand here. It's like, all right, yeah. What so to cover? How do the people that sell these options cover? How do they do that? Yeah, they buy the share, right? So I think if we start cracking over 250, you're going to get a waterfall of stop outs. So our covers or whatever you want to call it. And so can we set up a play that allows us to play that, right? Is there a way that we can play this and we're so close to that 250, it's like, oh man, who's going to win? The Bears? Well, I don't know. But if it goes lower, I'm going to buy longer out options instead of just this week's. Um, and so how can you set up a play that allows you to try this in risk control? Well, I mean, there's no right answer. Like, there's tons of different ways. But for me, when I'm looking at it, like, I don't know if I want to do 255s because that's not going to give me the movement I want. It's like, I got them pulled up. It's like 27. If they were $1 and I could get a 27% move out of $1, I get it. So it's the hard part that I'm having is figuring out what option I would want to play. If I was just buying shares, I would be willing to buy literally here, right, at this 249 level and risk a rollover. Does that make sense? Because we don't know. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? I don't know. All right, let's see if we can break this 250. Man, VKTX finally working. this can be construed as a little U. What's happening right here, right now. So what this means, in my opinion, is it's got to go. Right. If not, if it doesn't go here, you're gonna need to switch to like a 5 minute and give it time to swap the shares back and forth. Does that make sense what I'm saying when I say that? So like if we've got the, again, this is a very tight time frame we're looking at here, right? But the pattern's the same. So you got the boom one, two. Like if we don't go here, then what's going to happen is you're going to have to pull back down into these lows and figure out if you want to hold. Like this is it. This is it. It needs to make, it's like decision time. Something's got to give, right? Let's see if we can give it a little oomph. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in a big order above 250. I want to see if they want to go up there and grab me. You know, big for me comparatively to them. It probably doesn't mean anything, but we'll see. All the help we can give it, right? Let's go. So we did what? We technically made a new high, right? So now you swap, right? This is the liquidity chase, right? You swap from, is it a double top or is it going to be a liquidity chase? We cracked that 250. They did it. They pushed it and they cracked it. Now, are they doing it to liquidity? Nobody knows if they're doing it for the liquidity chase or not. But that's just the way that the chart changes now, right? You have to change the chart to understand that you've sucked in people that had orders above 250. And so if it doesn't go, well, what has to happen? Well, you got to stop out all the chasers. It's going to pull back. It's a liquidity chase. Fell breakout. Usually still fell break down. Blah 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 blah. So this is your timing, right? It's the timing of it. Let's go. So what should happen now? You should push back to 251. Like you should come back to high day. What should start happening is, oh, these people that all sold the 118,000 that's open interest. I mean total volume on these 250s are like, well, damn, I got to start buying some shares, right? Oh, this is getting hairy. I'm right at that 50 delta now. So shoot, I gotta pay up. I sold 1,000 shares worth of contracts. I gotta buy 500 shares. Okay, you guys tell me how could we get a little U out of this chart? Like, what would be a great thing to have happen here? If I could wave a magic wand, what's going to happen? Exactly. You got it, Evan. 100% correct. That's exactly right. Double top, high day, pull back, 250, right? Risk, you could actually say the risk level on this. You could argue that 249 would be the risk level, but your reward level is not only 251, but it's like 255. So that would make it worth it. So the way that you could break it up is, buy whatever. How many? If you're going to buy 10 contracts, buy 5 at 250, then 5 at 249, or 3 at 250, 3 at 249.50, and then 3 at 249. So again, just from our point here that we were talking about, hey, it's got a minute to go. It's like, this is it. This is your time. What do you think about the risk reward on this? So 340 was the entry. It's at $4 by $4.10 right now. So that's 60 cents of premium. If this would have dropped all the way down to this lower bottom, would we have lost 60 cents worth of premium? Does that make sense what I'm asking? So like, we literally drop $1 or we go up $1.50, right? It's kind of like a 1-to-1 is what I'm trying to say, right? That's correct, Jim. So like, would it be worth it? Well, in my mind, it is, because it's this target isn't the final target. While I am going to take some off there to lock it in and be safe, right? The final target is much higher, 255, 260, depending on what if you bought, depending on the time frames of options that you bought or whatever. But I think, if you're buying next week's 250s or whatever, then you can hold it out for longer. But anyway, whatever you're deciding to do, this is the thoughts that you need to be having in your head of, man, would I have obeyed this stop out and stopped out down here, or would I have said, you know what, let's give it back to VWAP, because if we switch it to a 5 minute chart, yeah, I mean, you could, and ultimately, it could still be good, and so now you're buying at 340 and holding for another dollar down on your option, and you go from saying I'm going to stop out at $3, and now you're holding them at 240 because you've changed the plan. You see what I'm saying? And like, this is what we often do. And instead of saying, okay, this little bitty myopic view of which, like, it's got a minute, it's got to go. If it doesn't go, it's over. We're going to come back down. And it doesn't mean the overall chart is broken now. It just means that this particular, right here, it's like tight as can be. This particular ascending triangle, whatever you want to call this, broke down. And if that did break down, yes, you're right. It's going to most likely come back down here, break down, come back down here. Well, stop out and then buy it again. Like, there's nothing, we didn't do anything wrong if we lose money on this trade. So, anyway. Yeah, it is, Ephraim. It's close enough. What I don't know is, are they going to bring it back up and then pull it back again? I don't know that, right? But it is definitely close enough. I think buying a pullback into this range is worth it. It's far enough. The more important question actually for me is it far enough away to let these people sell and hold? Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, can these people that bought in this box sell for some profit and this still hold? And the answer is absolutely. So let's buy this dip. And because you're playing it up, right? You don't want this below 249, right? It's we're not playing that chart. And if it does go down to 249, the odds of it popping back to 250 are relatively high to put in kind of a head and shoulders type pattern. And so I would buy at the 249, sell at the 250. Um, it's a good question. This looks more like a double top to me. So it's about the timing. So what I would say is how far apart were the double was the cup? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we got 10 minutes for the cup to form. Does that make sense? So, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, I got you. So, right. This is what you're looking at right here. I got you. Yeah, no, I wouldn't call this close enough. This isn't close enough for a double top, in my opinion. So, what's going through my mind right now, Tom, is where where is um, where's the level that it would need to pull back to hold? We haven't really got one yet, so I think we need some consolidation here to create that. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So like if this flags around here for, a little bit, well then we've got a perfect setup because then if it pushes back up here, that's obviously your buy point on that little U. So the SPY and the Qs are starting to take out their lows, guys. What you want to see here on Tesla is divergence. That's it. As long as it stays flat while this is going low, we're going to break high a day. Does that make sense what I'm saying? We cracked into the low of day on the SPY. All right, Tesla, just hold strong, baby. Hold this level. Mine is 249. I'm giving it 249. It's got to stay above 249. That's what I call the bottom side of that zone we were playing in. So everybody that bought within this area are the majority of them. The low is 249. Does that make sense? So I'm betting that these people hold this up. And if they don't, you're going to hit this double bottom VWAP area. Then you'll retest it, and then you'll figure out, is it going to bounce? Is it going to go lower? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So it looks like you were putting in a descending triangle that failed to break out, right? Like it pushed up to its double top and failed to break out. So for me, putting a stop below this level is fine. Like I think that's smart to, if it breaks below this level, to stop out, because you tried it and you, it looks like, all right, there is a high risk chance that they will break this low, and just to keep yourself safe, so you don't eat it all the way back down here, to stop out. However, all you have to do is hold, right? Even on these break, like if you could just hold, like if it can just hold here for a few minutes and say, you know what, we have the dip buyers, and it starts to break out again, well, you should have started at that point some type of new pattern, and maybe it does something, oops, that allows you to, more of an ascending triangle, yeah, against it. Yep. But again, the markets, the indexes are at lows. The Qs may enter their gap here, and there's a big, gap to fill. So we just have to be wary of where we are on the overall markets on Tesla and any other long that you're in, because it just seems like, all right, we're starting to do a little bit of struggling here. The bulls are they're on the ropes. Maybe the bears get a little win here, and then we can trap them for later in the day. Yeah, yeah. So like, let's say I'm gonna take this this way. Let's say we roll over on Tesla, and we come back down to here. Well, what does that look like? Well, that's your double top, that's your rounding muffin top, and that's your breakdown. So now everybody's like, yeah, Tesla is, it's easy, it's great, it's great. Well, if they can hold either of these breakdowns, either into the gap or this low, then you've given bears hope that you can short this thing into the gap. And trapping those people would be amazing, because that would give you the needed push, the needed volume on the buy side to come back and trigger these waterfalls to push us even higher than what we would have gone if we didn't. Does that make sense? Maybe it's just going to be a slow grind. Maybe, who knows? But when you trapping people is what allows for like sudden movements. Going from 248 to 250 in a couple minutes. Hey, give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, hey, Efren, I'm moving my stop now to the low of this recent pattern. What that means is, yep, yep. So that now that we've kind of started to curl, right? You've got these lows that have come in. So your little U is taking shape. So if it fails, then that low break will trigger for sure a push down to a minimum of 249, but I think it could actually push it down to 248, 30-ish, 50-ish. And so we've caught this little bottom that we wanted. I was willing to catch it all the way down to 249. How's the low going to be set? Is it going to be from here? I don't know, but that 249 level was the low then, but now it's like, all right, we've already started the curl. I'm tightening up now. Well, that picture I sent you should have you know given you a clue. But anyway. Oh, goodness gracious. It's a great question. Can anybody answer that? Because you didn't clarify exactly everything that. Here's how it works. The piece that I got on the little U, right? I'm holding multiple pieces. This is why at the end of the day, I've got like 7 different trades on that I've been playing within this, and I'm still holding half. And this is how you add to the size, right? So the little piece that I got at the little U, that I am. The rest I am not. I've already taken profits on those. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yes. Here. Yep. Like just take it off, and now what you've done, you're green. Like there's no way you're gonna go red now. And so the other ones that I took profits on are already took those profits here comparative to this double top, right? I've already done that. And so no, I'm not taking any more profits on these, but I am on the one here. And now it's like, okay, this is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly what we drew up. You've got your little U, you've got your everything's perfect. That means it needs to go. We need to go. There it is. So that's it. So the algo just triggered in. So that's the spot. Now let's see. So your high a day is 250.03. Is that right? And then this one triggered at 250. I'm sorry, 251.03. No, 251.10 is the high. Is that right? Yeah, 251.10. So that did you guys see that huge order that went through? So so 1,859,000 just went through. Anyway, so I'm not sure why somebody had such a large order sitting there on that break. No. Yeah, I dumped 850,000 shares of Tesla. What is that? Yeah, somebody just dumped 212,000. I'm sorry, 212 mil. AMD 30-minute TPS. So after I do this, Efren, there's a spot on Tesla that has to hold. What is that on this particular pullback that's happening right now? Did anybody get the 151 sell to opens? Like that worked great. Yeah, so ultimately what's happening here on Tesla is you can call this the little u within the little u because your ultimate double top finally hit, but you've got to keep these people happy, right? These people have to remain happy for this little u to take shape. Like you don't have a lot of time here. Like you know what I mean? It's not like we can consolidate and capitulate through here. Like you gotta. There we go. There we go. Here we go. So the little u within the little u. You see it? Boop, 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 boop. Now we've broken. Now let's see. You want to hear some bad news on this? Not a lot of volume on. Not a lot of volume on this break. Let's see. So the market's going down, Tesla's going up, not a lot of volume on this break. In my mind, it's time to tighten up some stops. Daryl, you know what I just heard? Wah, 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 wah. I don't care if you were home or not. Put in the order. Sheesh. I mean, seriously, it's AMD. You can market order into these things. It ain't like you got to put in a specific order. Womp, 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 womp. There's a famous phrase from 50 Cent. He said, losers make excuses and winners make it happen. But you can put that order in. You don't have to be home to make it. You can put that order in. Hey, there you go. Got one. So you're a half winner today. Would you rather me quote P. Diddy instead of 50 Cent? Tesla. That's what this candle was right here. It wasn't options. It was the shares. There's a huge order that hit. Literally, like, I don't want this thing going below 250. So like, if this low here is 249.51, right? That was so like I'm moving it up. Like, if the market decides it's going to hold, Tesla should go. Like, Tesla's been going up slowly and steadily as the market's been pushing down. All we need is the market to kind of base off. But I don't want to be stuck in a liquidity chase up here that's going to bring us all the way back down to VWAP. Does that make sense? So think of it as higher highs and higher lows. It's like, all right, boom, 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 boom. Well, the little u within the u that we're talking about, this is where I don't want it to get below. Could it come down here and double bottom at 249.50 and go? Absolutely, yeah, sure it could. But for me, the stock's doing exactly what I need it to do. It's broken out. You know, after you break out, you got like 5 minutes. Where's the 5 minute candle? Yeah, there's a certain amount of time before people like me get a little fidgety and start cutting. Like, you're not going to be able to consolidate right here forever. So your red line here, is that what that is? Yeah, the thicker one looks like. Oh, okay. I see it. I see it. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now you're zoomed in. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, just using that U, 100%. So if you were to do the exact same thing, I know this is getting very micro, but the candle that broke out, do the exact same thing from that candle that broke out, which is like 1107. So no, 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 no. Just from the candle that broke out till now. See, this is the advantage that this software has, that you can do this. Can you post that in here? Okay. Yeah, I see it. So 251.14, and then what's 251.02? That purple line. Oh, okay. Yep. So now that we've done the retest of the people below, so that's saying it's 251.14. So what I'm thinking here is what's the value area low of this upper section? And it looks like, what is that? 251.06. So and what we want to, so we just made another high. Great. So what we want to do is continually keep these people happy on the slow grind up. What happens if one group gets mad? So what happens if these people get a little pissed, or the next group of people get a little pissed? What then begins to happen? Well, yeah. So you've got this group underneath you that's still happy, versus this group that's up here that's pissed. And what's going to happen is the people down below you are going to be like, well, shoot, I bought some here and sold some here. Maybe I can buy some more, right? And yeah, okay, well, shoot, it's coming right back to my area. Yeah, let me buy some more. And so then you're going to get a battle between the two areas that creates even more VP. And that's what creates a right shoulder on a head and shoulders. And then if it breaks down, there's your breakdown. If it doesn't, here we go. Go. Live you in action. Little you in action, I mean, live. Jeez, can't talk. The little you live. There we go. Let's get it. Little you within little you within little you. I mean, is this fun to you guys? I don't know. Maybe I'm a dork, but it's like, not. What was the fib? Because 251.16 is the high. It's literally the high of this candle over here. Right there. What was the start one? Right here. The high day. Whoops. Wrong one. So you did it like this. So that is your 127.2. Is that what that is? Yeah, it's so funny how all this lines up, isn't it? It's like the mysteries of the universe. Why these numbers are everywhere. And again, I don't understand why things work in threes. You know how I've got my thing of three, like one, two, three, three halts, like everything threes. These threes everywhere, like the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. You know what I mean? Like everything is three, three, three. Um, the last take profit, I would take some about 250, 250. So between 252 and 252.50, and then 255. What's the expiration date? Is it this week? Um, yeah, I for me, I would do 250. Really, right about here, 252 to 252.50 is where I'd take it. If it was next week's, I'd give it a little bit more room. And the reason being on this is these are at five. The ones I'm playing for this week are at $5 now. So if we come back, let's say $1.50, right? How much is that going to drop? Because you've got a delta of 60, you've got a theta of $2, right? So let's say an hour goes by and we drop $1. Well, you're down, within 40, 50 cents of your entry, versus if we were to do that with next week's, it won't be that close. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Um, I just, when you're playing these shorter dated options like this, it's, in my opinion, it's always better to be a little bit more aggressive on the taking profit side, and flip it on the longer ones. It's always better to be less aggressive for the longer ones. Hold on one sec, Zach. You're real low, and Zach and Charlie's talking. Hold on one sec. So I'm going to take off some of the 1122 Teslas here. The next months. Okay, Zach, go ahead. Charlie's done. Let's check it out. No. Well, maybe on a shorter time frame. No. No, I wouldn't call this a woodpecker. Uh, Reason being, it's more of a pennant, more of a descending triangle, it looks like. So if you wanted to say this is you're going to be your woodpecker, then yeah, I could see that. But for that to happen, you need something like this. But it's, I guess you could argue it could be, if in 30 minutes you're following these patterns here, yeah, 100%. Does that make sense? But to me, it just, this is kind of what's sticking out to me on the 15 right now. Does that make sense? No, I mean, it's so. Is this pattern any better or worse than the woodpecker? I think they're both very good patterns. It does, it, you're fighting over the name of something. It doesn't, this looks like it wants to go higher. Excuse me. Right. Did anybody buy McDonald's? Did anybody buy the McDonald's gap down? Like those kind of things are like super overdone. If they're not just like killing people left and right, right? Like then it becomes really serious. But me being in the food industry, this happens all the time. Like it is so hard to prove that you're getting people sick. And so once they can, like, usually what happens, you can usually track it back to a supplier. And when you track it back to the supplier, it's like, all right, well, you screwed us over, supplier, and we're not going to use you anymore, blah, 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 blah. It's not like everybody in the country gets their same chicken from McDonald's from the same supplier, so it's going to affect a certain part of the country, and then they stop using them, and then you get these negative headlines about making people sick for a while, and then it goes away. Like no, nobody remembers this stuff. Well, most people don't. Or it's not front of mind. Like I eat at Chipotle all the time, and they got people sick, right? Like they were getting people sick with chicken. You guys remember that when Chipotle was like getting everybody sick? McDonald's. Yep. Look, I mean, this is beautiful, right? Look at this. Yeah, this looks great. So Zach, this kind of bottom is what I was talking about. Like if this would be a woodpecker if you had something that popped up here, right? That's your woodpecker pattern, 100%. But just because it didn't have something pop up, it's still a beautiful ascending triangle here. So if you wanted to play McDonald's, if you're like, hey, I didn't get any McDonald's, but you've got this possible little U. Where's the level that's going to break? To me, it looks like it's right here, right here, right somewhere in this area. So does that fit within? Well, yeah, it does because no. What I'm saying is this is where the chart breaks. So like as long as it holds that level, it's fine. So this is what makes things hard. It's like, all right, well, shoot, do I want to set this up in multiple phases? Who do we need to keep happy? Well, for me, the way that I look at it here, it's mainly the people today, right? So if we zoom in on a 1 minute today, your upper level is going to be about what is that 30 40 340 right here. So, and this is why I tell you guys, there's no wrong or right way to necessarily play. It's all about risk control. So if you wanted to try to capture a little U up here, I would actually start buying at the top of this flag right there and risk it all the way down to here, right? Like this is the area, and then it's like, well, shoot, if that breaks, well, why not buy it at VWAP? Well, if that breaks, why not buy it here? You know what I mean? And you could literally work it all the way down, but for me, I'd break it into here is one, and then down here would be the other one. So if I stop out of this, I'm not buying it until it comes back down to this area, the 300 level or the trend line, or if it like breaks down, hits VWAP, reclaims, and then puts in like an inverted head and shoulders, something along this area. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? And it's all about happiness of people. If you break below this group, this people right here are going to be pissed, right? They're going to be like, dang it, I was in the money, I was green, I thought we were going to go break in the gap. Well, okay, well now all these people that were going to stop out if it broke lows have stopped out. Well, what's the next group of people? It's these people. They're going to try to catch you, right? And these are the people that are I'm going to be playing against that I think has a bigger, if you were to take the justice scale, I think we have more weight on this side than they do on this side. So I think we could easily hold this level, retest, create some consolidation, and break up. Look at this thing, boy. Look at this thing. Ah, man, I love trading. I do occasionally. I do occasionally. Um, where else in the world can we just sit down, chit chat it up for a couple hours and just freaking rake in the money, you know, by pressing buttons. Right, or lose it. I tell my little boy, it's like he wants to be a professional athlete, and I'm like, all right, well, you're literally trying to be a one in a million. You know what I mean? Like, there's one out of a million. Great, let's do it. But there's going to be a point, at some point, your body's going to break down. Be it that you're 40, maybe you're Superman like LeBron, and it's going to be 40, 41. Once that happens, you got to be able to make money not using your body. And man, we're lucky. Put it that way. We're lucky to be able to do this. So, does this make the little you a little bit more understandable? Jim, are you here? Good. Yeah, yeah. Does this make it a little bit more understandable for you? Good, good, good. So, what you're doing is like this to me is where the meat of learning comes from. It's like we can all understand things conceptually, right? Like we can all sit in our ivory towers and pretend like we're geniuses and say theory after theory after theory. But those that get in the ring and those that get in the stadium and fight are the ones that are really putting the theories to the test, and that's where you learn.